Reese with iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com here in Chattanooga. We are one of the things that we like to do here in town at I Buy Chattanooga Houses. We like to help people with solutions. Our company, Chattanooga Property Solutions, is exactly that. We run across folks that have different problems with their houses. They have issues that we go in and try to take care of. Could be something that we may end up purchasing. It could be an opportunity that we might turn into a listing opportunity for Thomas DeMoss, my partner. But it just really depends on what the issue and the situation is that we have and that we need to take care of. And that's what our whole focus is helping people. And I think if you go check us out at iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com or go to our Facebook page of the same name of I Buy Chattanooga Houses, you'll be able to see some of the testimonies of people that we have worked with in the past. And I think that you'll be very impressed with what you see. And for those of you that maybe this is your first time listening to our broadcast, we do this every Thursday at 11 o'clock. Thomas DeMoss is normally here. He's not here today. He might make a cameo appearance later. We never know. But we're going to be interviewing here in just a couple of minutes our contractor, Jimmy Gravely of Gravely Construction. He is from Cleveland, Tennessee, and we're glad to have him here with us. But just to let you folks know, the properties that we're looking for, if you have a house that you have inherited that you don't know what to do with, if you live in a neighborhood that has a house that's been vacant for many years, which we run across some that's been vacant for 10 years, that's what we're looking for. We've got a burned house that we're doing right now that we'll talk about later. If you do have a house that's been burnt in your neighborhood, let us know. We like to do those projects that other people don't enjoy doing because they don't like the extensity of the rehab that is involved to do that, which is something that we don't mind. And I know Jimmy doesn't mind at all about the extensive rehabs that we do. But you can reach us if you do have that house that you know of or know of somebody that has that. Feel free to go to iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com or on our Facebook page, and there's a little form there that you can fill out, and that will come to us directly, and we will try to give you a call right then and there. We're not going to hold off. We'll try to give you a call the same day. If you would like, you can give us a call at 834-7321, and that is area code 423. That goes directly to us. But just fill the form out, give us a call. And here again, if you do have a house that you would like to list, my partner Thomas DeMoss is a realtor with Keller Williams here in Chattanooga. As far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best ones in town. We haven't had properties on the market for very long. You need to get hold of Thomas. His phone number is 634-0028. Again, that's Thomas DeMoss at Keller Williams at 634-0028. Right now, I want to bring in Jimmy Gravely. We met a little story with Jimmy. We were doing on how we met. It was a while back. We were doing a project down on 10th Street. I don't know if y'all remember that one or not. It's on our website, but we went in to take a look at the house, and Jimmy knew the fella next door, the next door neighbor. And we walked up, and he was sitting on the porch, and we kind of struck up a conversation with him. And he said, "Hey, if you ever need a general contractor, I'm a general contractor." I said, "Oh, well, that's great." First off, my first thought was he's kind of young to be a GC. And then as I got back in the car, I was talking to Thomas, and I said, "Thomas, it's a beautiful summer day. He's a general contractor. Why is he sitting on the front porch with his friend?" So that was our first impression with Jimmy. But since we have connected up a year or so ago, we have done several projects. We've been very, very pleased with the work that has been done. And I want to introduce Jimmy Gravely of Gravely Construction. Jimmy, tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got to where you are today.
Well, I appreciate you having me on today. And a little bit about myself. I've been doing construction for 20 years. I know that seems odd. I don't look 20 years old.
And how old are you?
I am 33. And I started in this business when I was a kid. My dad was a general contractor. My granddad was a general contractor, and my great-granddad was a general contractor. So I come from a long line of general contractors, so I've been in the business, I guess you could say, all my life. But since I was 13, I've actually been on job sites and working, and spent a great number of years over in Ray County building new houses, and that's kind of what my background was. And then
they build new houses in Ray County?
They do still build new houses in Ray County.
Okay, I was just checking to see.
And so I that was my background, was new construction. And then we all know what happened in between 07 and 09 with our economy and our housing market. That was kind of a sad time for a lot of folks. And so nobody was building new houses, and I had to learn something. And so I learned to remodel.
So what do you like better, remodel or new construction?
By far, I like new construction better.
Why is that?
I don't have to put up with people like you.
Oh, okay. Hey, I've been hopefully we've been a pleasure to work with. You never know. We get a little hard sometimes.
Not too bad.
But what does it, there's a lot of folks, a lot of remodelers out there. There's a lot of people that want to get in this business. I run across folks all the time that want to get into flipping houses. And there's a lot of folks that want to get into to being a general contractor. I even considered it at one time before you and I got together. What does it take to become a general contractor? What are the requirements? What does the state require you to do?
Well, first of all, you have to have experience in building. That's something that a lot of people don't really know. They think, well, I can go take a test and become a general contractor. But one of the things that they look for in Nashville is for experience. Mm-hmm. And so you have to have some experience with building houses. You have to be able to pass the state board exam mm-hmm. to be a general contractor. You have to be insured. And another thing is capital. Mm-hmm. You can be everything else. And if you don't have working capital, then the state's not going to give you a license and allow you to be a general contractor in the state of Tennessee.
Really? Now, how do they verify that? How do they know if you've got capital, don't have capital? I have heard of that, but what do they do to verify?
Well, you have to go to a licensed CPA and get a financial report drawn up by a licensed CPA. And you have to submit their certified copies to the state of how much money that you actually have, how much working capital that you actually have.
That's pretty interesting. Now, you go out and you have a general contractor's license. Does that allow you to go out and build a house of $100,000 or $1 million? Can you just go out and build anything you want to build under that license?
Well, if you have a residential license, then you can build anything residential under your monetary limits.
Now, what's monetary limits?
So based off of that CPA's financial statements that you submit to the state of Tennessee, they give you a monetary limit based off of that. Mm-hmm. And so if you submitted that you had $10,000 of working capital, they will give you $100,000. So your working capital has to be 10% of your requested monetary limit.
I see. Now, is that something that they monitor on a annual basis?
Every 2 years, we have to submit new financial statements. I just had to submit mine in July. So,
well, now is yours going to be going down now?
Since I started working for you and Thomas, it may.
Hey, be nice now. Be nice. Be nice. But you just finished. We were not really in between projects, but you took on and built a new construction house up in Cleveland, didn't you?
I did. I just built a new construction in one of the more desirable neighborhoods there. I wouldn't say it's most desirable, but it's a pretty desirable neighborhood.
And I remember at one time you told me that you don't like going into doing remodels. Well, one of the issues with remodels is when you open up the wall, you never know what you're going to run across.
Yes, that's
always the thing that we run into, and that's why we try to budget for that. And you told me that you don't run into those things when you do new construction. But I think you kind of ran into an uh-oh moment that you weren't expecting on this one, weren't you?
I did. It was something that in 20 years of construction I've never ran into. It was the lot that I bought. So you don't open up walls in new construction and find surprises, but when you start digging in the ground, you may find some surprises. And so
what was that surprise you found? Was it a sinkhole or something?
I did find a sinkhole. As a matter of fact, I was driving a mini excavator, and for those of you that don't know, it's basically a miniature backhoe with tracks. And I was driving it across the lot. The next thing I know, I'm up to my feet in mud. And I'm sitting on the machine.
How did you get that? I know you called me and told me that, and I didn't laugh at the time, but I was laughing under my voice.
Well, it cost quite a bit of money. It cost me about $250 just to get that thing out of that sinkhole. We had to call a wrecker service out, and they had to sit at the road. They couldn't even get on the lot with the wrecker, so they had to sit on the road and run the cables out there. And the guy that came, he was a super nice guy. He didn't ask us to jump in the mud or anything. We were already muddy, but he just dove in. He was up to his knees in mud, hooking the cables up on that mini excavator. That? So,
you know, the one constant between building new construction and doing remodeling, anything you run across can be fixed.
Yes.
If you got money.
If you got money.
If you got the money, it doesn't matter what comes up. It can all be fixed. It can all be fixed at some point. But a couple of about being general contractor, you know, there's a lot of, would you say it's a fair statement to say that there's a lot of good and a lot of bad general contractors out there?
I would say that is a very fair statement. Actually, to be honest with you, in the downtimes, in the recessions and stuff like that, it's easier to find a good contractor in the recession because the fly-by-nighters and the guys that really are not that good, but in it because they can make a quick dollar or a quick buck, those guys kind of fade out during a recession. But
right.
Those of us that try hard and want to put out a good product for our clients, we end up surviving. Mm-hmm. Somehow or another, we end up surviving. I mean, there's a lot of hungry nights and things like that, but we do end up surviving recessions because we have quality and we care about our clients, and that's how we survive. But in times like we have right now, where business is booming, you really have got to be careful about who that you hire because it is it's a very volatile market right now.
Okay, so you bring up a good point. If there are folks out there that are looking for a general contractor, obviously Jimmy is not available because he works for us. No, I'll let Jimmy give his phone number out here in a little bit, and you're welcome to give him a call. We do vouch for the work that he does do. He's done us a great job. But if you have folks out there that don't have any personal recommendations, they don't know who to call, they don't know how to go about finding a general contractor. What are some of the guidelines, the rules, the certifications, the insurance, all that kind of stuff? What are the things that somebody needs to be looking for, whether they're in Chattanooga or anywhere around the country? What do they need to be looking for to ensure that they have have a legitimate contractor that they're going to hire?
Well, there are several different ways that you can check out your contractor. One of the things that you should require from any contractor that you hire is that he shows you proof of his insurance.
What type of insurance are you talking about?
I would at least want general liability insurance. Workers' comp is required by the state unless it's someone who works by themselves with no employees. Then they're not required to have workers' comp. They're required to have an exemption. So I would look for that exemption if you're hiring the handyman who works by himself. Or if you're hiring a big company who has several employees, I would be looking for some workers' compensation insurance and a general liability, and that's to cover you. General contractors are required by state law to purchase general liability insurance to cover the client, not to cover themselves, but to cover the client.
Right.
Because if you get a hold of a general contractor who doesn't come back and fix your house and things like that, you can sue him all day long. You can sue him for $2 million, but if he doesn't have any insurance, he's just going to file bankruptcy, and you're going to be left high and dry. And
you're out the door. Well, you mentioned something a little while ago about workers' comp. I know a lot of people talk about workers' comp. You got to have workers' comp. I know a little bit about workers' comp. Explain to us exactly what that is, how it works. Don't have to talk about how much it costs because any insurance you pay for is going to be probably more than what it's worth, I would think. But talk a little bit about workers' comp and what all that includes and the details behind that.
So if you ever have to file a workers' comp claim, you're glad you have it, because paying for somebody's doctor bills as a general contractor is no fun at all. But something that homeowners don't realize is that if you hire me to work on your house and I don't have workers' compensation insurance and one of my guys falls off a ladder and breaks his leg, you as a homeowner are responsible for paying for that employee of mine. You're responsible for paying for his doctor bills as a homeowner with him working on your house.
Even though I have hired you as my general contractor to come in, you've got your license. You show me your license. Maybe you do have, the liability insurance, but if you don't have workers' comp, and I've hired you and they follow my job, then it's my responsibility to take care of that, not yours.
It is your responsibility, because it is your responsibility to have due diligence to make sure that your general contractor has his proper workers' compensation insurance.
I got you. So how often do people actually file claims against workers' comp? Is that like a common thing, or is it, because I've got my own personal views. I looked at doing workers' comp. I did a remodel job for somebody else, which I've done 2 of those, and I'm not planning on doing another one. But this was 2 or 3 years ago, and I started looking into workers' comp. And the agent that I was talking with at the time, as she was explaining how workers' comp worked, honestly, I had to look at her and say, this is a ripoff.
It feels like a ripoff sometimes, especially whenever I first started. It was just me by myself.
Right.
And so one of the best things that the state of Tennessee did was give us, as general contractors who were on our own and just doing things by ourselves with no employees, a way out to go get that exemption and be able, and it also helps the paper contractor. That's a term in the business for somebody who never does the work, hires all subcontractors, and just goes and manages. So a paper contractor, it helps them to be able to get that exemption, because for a guy who's by himself, who doesn't have to cover anybody but himself, it is a ripoff.
Right.
It really is a ripoff, because, we pay for health insurance, and our health insurance would cover anything that would happen to us on a job site, but it will not cover our employees, of course. And so when you have employees, it's it doesn't feel as much like a ripoff, but when it's just you by yourself as a contractor, man, it feels like a ripoff.
Absolutely. So just to clarify, if you hire a general contractor to come do work at your house, whether it's doing remodel work or whether you're asking them to come in and do a new construction house for you, you mentioned the term exemption. If they come, if you as the owner of the company can have an exemption, correct?
Yes.
Now, what if the subs that you bring on board, are they required, or should a general contractor require them to carry their own workers' comp, or would that fall under the general contractor's workers' comp?
Yes, if they do not have their own workers' comp, it falls under the general contractor's workers' comp. But the general contractor, it's his responsibility to require his subcontractors to have workers' comp, but it's still your responsibility as a homeowner to make sure that you are doing due diligence and checking that each subcontractor does carry workers' comp if your general contractor is working under an exemption.
Now, can everybody down the line work off an exemption?
Yes, everybody down the line can work off an exemption. See, each business owner can work off of an exemption. So if I hire a plumber to come into your house and do work on your house, and he has an exemption, then you're good, you're covered as far as that is concerned. But so everybody down the line can have an exemption, but you as a homeowner, I can't stress that enough, it is your responsibility to make sure. Now, if the general contractor has workers' compensation, then you have no worries, because his workers' compensation covers anybody down the line.
I got you.
But if he doesn't, and he's working under an exemption, you as a homeowner need to be responsible enough to make sure that each guy he brings in is either exempt or has their own insurance.
Okay. Well, let's move. This is a very interesting subject. I'm sure everybody's enjoying this conversation on insurance. Let's talk about something else. When the first question a lot of people ask when they're going to go out and build a new house, and we'll talk about in our second segment, we're going to get more into remodeling and renovating houses. We're talking about new construction right now. When somebody the first question a lot of people ask is, what's it going to cost me per square foot to build a house? And I know there's probably different levels. Some might, I can build a house for $60 a foot. It's going to cost me $200 a foot to build that house. How can there be such a big difference in constructing a new house?
Well, there are many variables. The house that we mentioned earlier that I just built in Cleveland is a prime example. We went in with a certain budget. We wound up $10,000 over our initial budget. to construct that house. And our initial budget included a 13% factor in the budget. And so we cleared out that factor and went $10,000 over budget. And it just basically come down to the lot, the finishes, things like that. I decided, well, this lot is the lot itself. I purchased the lot for about $12,000, but the lot itself, because of how terrible the lot was, ended up costing me an extra $14,000 on the construction of my house. So it really varies on things like if we have to put in a pump system for your septic tank, what kind of finishes. The biggest thing on a flat lot, if you have a flat lot and everything is like, and it's a perfect building lot, the biggest thing is finishes. How you want your house finished out. Because me personally, you may find a contractor that will, but me personally, I won't jeopardize structural integrity with building materials as far as framing is concerned, as far as roofing is concerned, and as far as electrical and plumbing are concerned. Those are things that I will not jeopardize integrity on.
So, but I mean, a 2x4 is going to cost the same whether you're building a $120,000 house or whether you're building a $520,000 house.
Exactly.
The concrete per yard is going to be the same. I mean, it's all basically going to be the same. From what I understand, it's going to come down to, number one, the size of your house, what's got to be done to prep that lot. If it's a flat lot, it's a little different than if you've got a hill lot you've got to do. Block work is different, concrete slab, which that brings me to a question. We're seeing a lot of concrete slab houses nowadays. Me personally, I like a foundation on mine, I like a crawl space. What do you see as the difference between concrete and a crawl space?
Well, there are advantages to the crawl space in the state of Tennessee, and one of the things is that we have a lot of weather change. So as you have weather change, the ground moves. And so all of your utilities are in your concrete slab. And so that creates a problem as time goes on and as our ground moves and changes in the state of Tennessee. Places like California, where the weather doesn't change as much, concrete slabs are great. But in places like Tennessee, I don't suggest them. I prefer a crawl space here.
To me, it just seems to make more sense. I like that. I know down in Florida, they do a lot of concrete slabs because it's kind of hard to find the bedrock to be able to put your foundation on.
It is.
It's very, very difficult down there. And so that's, I personally like them. I won't buy a house that's got a concrete slab. I've got a buddy of mine next door that did. And basically we found out that what happened is before they closed up the concrete, they put all the wood in the middle of the foundation, covered it up. And now he's got all kinds of termite problems. Well, guys, that's going to end our first segment. Again, I'm Wally Reese with iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. Stay tuned and come back with us on our second segment. We're going to be talking more about remodeling, pricing, good, bad, about remodeling. But again, Wally Reese, iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. We'll talk to you here in just a little bit. Thank you very much.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
This is Thomas DeMoss with Keller Williams Realty. I am a realtor in Chattanooga. We list and sell homes, work with buyers, work with home sellers. I have been involved in real estate for over 10 years. My background is as a real estate investor. That is what I bring to the table, is that real estate investor mindset. My job is to help you sell your house for the most money, employing the best marketing strategy and walking you through what can be a rather stressful process. So we are encouraging people who are on the fence or even thought about selling their house to give us a call. There's no obligation. We're just here to kind of have a conversation, let people know what the process is like, what the market is like, what values they can expect to receive. We work with buyers as well. I also have a buyer's agent that works exclusively with my buyers because we want to give our clients as much attention as we can. My cell phone number is 423-364-0028. Our website is northriverpropertygroup.com. That's northriverpropertygroup.com. We'd love for you guys to call us.
3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news, now.
For 69-year-old Carol Gaddy, held in Hamilton County Jail as a political prisoner, she refused to allow an illegal warrantless search of her home. A clash between commies and conservatives, that's what the Chattanooga police are afraid of. The rally is going to be held at Coolidge Park at 7:30 tonight by a group called Full Communism. At the same time, a group in support of a man who was fired from a local restaurant for attending the rally in Charlottesville are going to be coming. A cold corpse was found at an intersection in Ottawa Wednesday morning. Police say the body's been identified as Tiffany Page Floral, who's 21 years old. There are no visible signs of trauma. They're not sure how she died. Her body will be taken to the medical examiner's office. Hopefully they'll find a cause of death. You'd think it was Armageddon, not the eclipse. TDOT and various police agencies are warning that you should fill up your tank of gas and leave earlier if you're going to be watching the eclipse on the 21st. Hamilton County schools will be closed for the event. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect partly cloudy, hot, and humid weather out there through your afternoon highs 90 to 92. Could see a late shower or storm. That may continue through the nighttime. Lows 72 to 75. For Friday, after a morning shower, dry for the afternoon, near 90. Mostly sunny and hot for the weekend. Come to Larry's world-famous buffet in Trenton, featuring some of the finest homestyle cooking around. Larry also offers catering, open Thursdays through Sundays. Larry's just off 559, off Highway 136 West Trenton. And I'm Swarm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Wow! I feel good.
Okay, guys, here we are back with Reality Real Estate. I'm Wally Reese with iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com, and I'm here with our general contractor, Jimmy Gravely of Gravely Construction. First segment, we talked a lot about what it means to be a general contractor. What are some of the key items that you need to investigate before hiring that general contractor? We talked about several things. Some might not be the most glorious things to talk about, but you know what? If you're in the process of doing some remodeling work and hiring a general contractor, those are some very important key things that you want to make sure that you do, just for the simple purpose of covering yourself. I learned when I was in the Marine Corps, it's called CYA, but just cover your butt, because you never know what might come up. And I know of the years that you've been in general contracting, and Thomas and I have been redoing houses. There have been some times that have come up that like, ooh, we weren't expecting that, and hopefully, luckily, good thing it didn't cost us any money. But one of the things I want to start it off with is, when I first got started in this business, my whole goal was to save as much money as possible, and I would always go into the cheapest price. And I've since learned my lesson as far as going to the cheap price, because it's eventually going to cost you in the long run. But from your standpoint, we chose to go with you. We've developed a pretty good relationship, and Thomas and I have gotten to the point we're not looking for the most inexpensive person that's out there, but we definitely don't want the most expensive. Explain to us from your viewpoint on being a general contractor, what is going to be that difference between the low man on the totem pole and the guy that's trying to get rich off of your project?
Well, to be honest with you, the low man on the totem pole and the guy who's trying to get rich off of your project are very similar, actually. The low man on the totem pole is somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot of experience in construction, and he comes in with very low pricing to try to land jobs. And the guy that's really high up there is one of two guys. He's a guy who's been in there a really long time, and he doesn't really want to do your project, so he
That's a good point.
Is overpricing you. Or secondly, he's a guy who is new, and he's heard stories about the kind of money that can be made working in construction, and he's priced it really high up there because he's just too ignorant to know that area of where to be with pricing. Right. And so that's kind of where they're at. And so that's the reason why that you hear people tell stories about, well, I go with the middle quote, because they've learned through experience that usually that middle guy is the guy who's been around the block, kind of knows what he's capable of, and knows what his pricing would be.
Correct.
And another thing that with price is, while we're talking about pricing, is whenever you have a guy come in, and especially if he's the middle guy, the guy that's the middle of the road, you start asking for discounts here and there. That really is something that just makes that guy not interested in doing your project.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife told me one day, because I was the kind of guy, I didn't like it when people would ask me for discounts, but I would give discounts.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife told me one day, she said, when you figure out how much you're worth, you'll stop giving discounts.
Yeah. And, with me being an old sales guy anyway, you always got to ask that question. If I ask somebody, hey, can we cut the price by a little bit? And somebody says, I can't because of this, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I got to ask the question. Like
Right.
I've asked you several times, wait, we need to do this for a lot less than what you're telling me.
Yeah. And by now that every time you ask that my usual response is, well, it's probably a possibility, but it won't be the quality that we are looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, just from experience from on my end of remodeling houses, renovating the number of houses that we've done over the years, and Thomas and I've done over the past 2 to 3 years, I have gone with that bottom of the barrel guy. I mean, if I could save 10, 20, 30%, that could be several $100s. What I have found out, not in every case, but I would say probably 8 times out of 10, when I've gone with the fella who is at the bottom of the barrel, he may or may not show up. The length of the project gets longer. He's not going to come and finish the job, and I end up bringing somebody else on board that is going to put me in that middle to high range anyway of what I didn't want to spend. And what we have found out, even before you and I hooked up, Thomas and I hooked up with you, is that we realized that we don't want to pay that extra money to go with the middle of the road, or what I'm going to call the fair price, the fair pricing. But in the long run, it has saved incredibly over a period of time, simply because we don't have to go and call somebody else to come in and finish the job that somebody else started. Because you've told me that before, that you hate coming in and cleaning up somebody else's mess. Have you done that quite a bit?
I've done it a few times. I wouldn't say quite a bit, because most of the time you remember the guy that I talked about who was overly priced that didn't want to do your job.
Right.
That was me whenever I came in behind somebody else. And so, but I have done it a few times, and it really is a nightmare to come in behind somebody, especially the bottom of the barrel guy. Now, if you had a problem with a middle of the road guy, they're easier to follow. But the bottom of the barrel guy, if you have to come behind him, it's more than going to put you back up to that middle range. It's going to put you up into that high range where you really didn't want to be to begin with.
Probably because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to have to be demolished and redone because it wasn't done right to begin with.
Yeah, I did. It was for a friend of mine. I did a bathroom that I had to come in behind him, and the guy was a handyman and that did the work before. Knew a little bit about plumbing, a little bit about electrical and things like that. And by the time it was said and done, I had to bring in plumbers and electricians, and it cost 3 times what it would normally cost just to bring those 2 guys in and do it right to begin with.
That brings up another question. If you have a general contractor that has a GC license, a plumbing license, electrical license, he's got all that covered, is that somebody that you would consider using or not?
It's somebody that I would consider using. The problem with using somebody who has those specialties and can do all of those things is time, because he's got to be hands-on for each one of those processes, and it's really hard to. And so what ends up happening sometimes is that the guy who has the electrical and the plumbing, and he's also a general contractor, is that one of those 3 things gets relaxed a little bit, and somebody else is doing the work under his supervision. But if he's working on plumbing and he's got his guys working on electrical, it's hard for him to supervise the guys that are working on plumbing.
Correct. And I understand that totally. Let's talk a little bit about remodeling. I mean, that's we came together for the purpose of redeveloping property. I don't like to use the word rehab, because on the stuff that we've done, it hadn't been just a rehab in a bathroom or rehab and paint and carpet. We've done a lot of gut and redos. And for those of you who want to see some of the work that Jimmy and his crew does, go to our website at ibuychattanoogahouses.com and take a look at some of the photos that we have and some of the videos that we have on there with 10th Street, Oak Street, with our burn house, with our Russell Street house. I mean, they have done all of that work, and we have been very, very pleased with the work that y'all have done. Let's talk about, we've got a couple of projects going on right now that didn't start off too well for a couple of guys on your crew. One of them that we have classified on our website is the poop house. And that's as far as we're going to go with the explanation of why we call it that. Then we have another one that was out in East Ridge that was, it was a little different type of an initial walkthrough. But what did a couple, when we walked into Russell, what did a couple of your guys do the first few hours they were there?
Well, I had one guy. He said, if you ever get another one like this, I'm going to quit. And sure enough, he did. So it was
pretty rough house.
It was pretty rough. I mean, you got guys that are sick, and that's as far as we'll go with that.
Right.
They're very sick, and they, wearing a mask is not good enough.
Right.
It doesn't do away with the smell. If I could somehow explain the smell, I would, but it's just it's so horrendous that it's unexplainable.
Well, I think if they go and look, if you go onto our website at ibuychattanoogahouses.com and look at the before pictures of Russell, it will give you an idea of what we ran into when we first walked in that house. And it was not any better when Thomas and I first walked in. We were looking to buy the property. It was not in any better shape at that point. And then we've got another property over in East Ridge that we purchased. And what was their reaction when they first walked into that one? Now granted, there are a lot of people that I don't like to use the word hoard, but they keep a lot of stuff in their house, stuff that maybe they don't need to keep. But this particular property, there were 7 dogs, and they were hoarding, I guess, better like a term's garbage to a point.
Yeah.
What was it like what did y'all see what was it like when you first walked in that house?
Well, when I first walked in the house, I was utterly disgusted. And, we walked through and we got to one of the back bedrooms, and there were cups, fast food restaurant cups, that were stacked from the middle of the floor to the corner of the bedroom, and they were stacked up the wall. And so, just to give an example of how much stuff was kept in this house, it was so bad that we ended up subbing that one out. Remember, you guys
we did. We've got a couple of guys that a fellow Thomas knows in his neighborhood that young fella, 18 years old, wanting to get in this business, and he has been the chosen one, I think, to be able to go in and clean some of these houses out. But hey, you know what? He's wanting to get in this business, and it's kind of like this is what you got to do to get started. But for those properties, y'all go check out ibuychattanoogahouses.com or go to our Facebook page at ibuychattanoogahouses, because we have all of our past pictures before and after. We've got current pics there, and you can get an idea of a lot of what we run into when we go in to look at a house. But even as bad as these two houses were that y'all walked into, and that Thomas and I walked into, these folks had a problem. When we first walked in, as we've talked before, these folks had a problem, and they had a situation in their house that they couldn't do anything with. And we went in, our team went in, and we provided a solution for both of these two projects, even as bad as they were. You guys have taken the ball with, I'm going to talk about Russell because we're done with that one, and have just really turned that property around to an incredible looking property. Y'all need to go take a look at the before and after pictures on our website. But when you walk into a rehab, and for anybody out there looking to rehab a house, when you're going in to remodel a house, there's typically a couple of main areas that you want to talk about. I mean, we did a lot on Russell. We had a huge front porch to it. We've done a lot of painting on the outside, the windows, a lot of stuff like that. But what are the real two key areas that when mama walks in and wife walks in the house, she wants to make sure it look exquisite? Kind of what are those two focuses we like to work on?
I would work on kitchen and the master bathroom. Those are the two places. When mama comes home from work, you know, don't know what she does for a living. She could be a nurse. She could, you know, work in a factory, whatever it is. Most of the time, mama's feet are tired. And so her bathroom is her first getaway. She wants a bubble bath. She wants a place that she can light a candle and relax. So, you know, that is the place. That is the spa for mom on a daily basis. Right. You know, she can't go to the spa every day, but she can get a little piece of it when she comes home and walks into her bathroom. And then the other place is the kitchen. Dads now more and more spend time in the kitchen as well. So it's more of a selling point for both mom and dad. I mean, if my wife and I were walking into a house and we were looking to buy a house, which probably would never have, we're probably going to end up building a house. But if we were walking in and we were shopping a house and we walked into the kitchen and the two of us couldn't coexist in there and cook at the same time, it's a no-go. We're not going to be there. And so that's the places, if you're trying to resell your house, that you really need to put your money is in the kitchen, the master bathroom, and then just make the rest of it look good. I mean, all of the interior stuff should look really nice, but the kitchen and the master bath should really be.
Gotcha. Now, are you finding now that more and more people, let me back up. The house that I grew up in was built in the 20s, and every room was a box. You know, den was a box. The kitchen was a box. The dining room was a box. Living room was a box. And that's what I grew up with. And that's kind of the way my house is right now, unfortunately, until my wife gets her way and changing things around. But what are you finding now for those folks listening is the most appealing when people walk in the door? They still want the boxes, or are they kind of wanting, you know, openness where everything's kind of open? Kind of what's the feel for the day?
Actually, it's kind of a mix, to be honest with you. Mom and dad want the bedroom to be kind of off to a place that's private, that's not so accessible from the open floor plan. And that's what really sells houses, is an open floor plan right now. You want to the people want to walk in, and the living room, dining room, the kitchen, just all be one big open space. And it's great for entertaining. It really is. I had a house that was open concept several years ago, and everybody that walked in the house said, this is my favorite house that I've ever walked in my life. And so we just kind of, when we build new houses, we kind of stick with that same similar design of that open concept, because people just loved it, because you pack so many people in that one room. You could have people over in this corner playing cards, and this over here watching football in the other corner of the room, and just and everybody's still together. You can have people doing different things and they're all together. And so that's kind of the hot thing. Me personally, I'm a big fan of a closed floor plan myself. I like the boxes. I know that's surprising to hear from a millennial, but I do like I'm kind of old fashioned. So I do like the old closed floor plans. It gives more privacy, I think. And that's what I personally enjoy, but
I can understand that. Now, what kind of makes a determination on several things? I mean, whether we use linoleum or tile, whether we tile a bathroom, whether we put in a single unit, fiberglass, granite. You know, I know we've done some butcher block on some. Kind of, where is there a specific area? I mean, price range that you feel you need to do the tile and not do the vinyl, or kind of what's that dynamic there?
I think really it depends on your neighborhood. If you look at how your houses are selling in the neighborhood that you are in, and you look at that price range, and you can get comparable pricing, talk to your real estate agent and see where you're at as far as your comparable pricing is concerned. And then look at the houses that you're comparing to. When you get that comparable pricing, look and see what the other houses in your neighborhood, what finishes they have. That's what I base it off of personally, is the finishes of the other houses. We talked earlier in the first segment about the new construction that I built. I walked into the neighborhood and I looked around. It was time to pick a roof, and looked around, and every house in the neighborhood had metal roofs. So the worst thing for me to have done would have been put a shingle roof on that house, because every house in the neighborhood has a metal roof. And so,
we actually had some conversation with that on Russell. Because when we went to Russell had a metal roof, and the next door neighbor, who was a designer, really liked that.
She really did, but every other house in the neighborhood had shingle roofs.
Right.
And with the advancements in technology, shingle roofs are actually surpassing metal roofs on their reliability and durability. And so, that's kind of where we went with Russell. And so finishes are basic. I wouldn't say that it's a number thing, but one thing that I would say is look at how much you want to sell your house for. Look at how much that you have in a renovation budget to be able to put into your house, and that will base what your finishes are because of the amount of work that you want to do with the money that you have to spend.
Right. Well, I look at our burn house that we're doing here in Hicks on Orbit Drive, which we're just about done with. I mean, that was a pretty extensive rehab. We had to tear almost half the house off because of the burn that went there. And initially, when we went into that, we were focused on minimal, on what to do with the project. And as I think happens with everything that we've done, once we get into it, things tend to change as we go through. And I think one of the big changes that happened was, we did agree to put in a fiberglass tub in the main bathroom, but then we kind of had a plan put together for the master bathroom. And then that kind of changed a little bit because we were looking to put a pan and put tile on top of that. And then you kind of made that corporate decision, didn't you?
I did. Sometimes I do things that surprise these guys. I do things on my own accord. I look at the budget and see if it's something that will increase the value of the house, but that we could still keep the house within budget. And so we talked about in the beginning doing a fiberglass pan floor and then just doing tile on the walls on the shower. But as I got to looking at it and thinking about, well, what's really going to add value to this house, I just called in our tile guys and didn't worry about even going and getting the fiberglass pan for the floor. And we tiled the floors, we tiled the walls, we did the whole thing in tile and pretty nice tile too. I think the shower turned out beautiful. And so it was just that one little, it just cost a few $100, and it was just that one little extra thing that is going to put that house over the edge and be able to bring that house a top asking price for the neighborhood.
I think so, and it was a little bit of a shock when I walked in because I was taking some pictures of kind of a go through as we put on our website, and when I turned the corner and looked, I'm going, oh, wait a minute, I thought we were going to do this, and I liked it. It wasn't anything I was like, oh man, I can't believe we're doing this. That's not what we agreed upon, but that was one of those things. And here again, if you get a good general contractor that is working within a budget, which we have budgets on every house that we do, and it worked. And everything. The only downside was now we would like to put glass shower door like we've done at 2 or 3 of our properties, and we can't do it because we didn't plan for it. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Jimmy, for our listeners out there, let them know about how they can get a hold of you. If somebody would like to have some work done with the upfront that, hey, you know what? Jimmy works with us, and our work comes first. but he's more than happy to come out and take a look at some projects that you might have coming up. How can somebody get a hold of you, Jimmy, if they want to do so?
Actually, the easiest way to get a hold of me is by calling 423-834-5749. You can call or text, and you will get a response at that number. That's 834-5749. If you prefer email, you can email us at gravelyconstruction@gmail.com.
And we do vouch for their work. I mean, Jimmy has done a great job for us. It's taken a load off of my shoulders because I was doing a lot of stuff that Jimmy's doing now with managing the projects, buying the material. One project, I think the first big project we did, we kind of coordinated together, and it just got to be a real pain in my rear end to take care of all that stuff. And so in addition to Jimmy being our general contractor, he is our project manager as well. Make sure that everything gets taken care of time-wise, financial-wise, budget-wise. If we've got any questions or things that we might need to add to the budget, he's always good to give us a call. But one thing I want to talk about right now is our website is ibuychattanoogahouses.com. We would enjoy everyone who is listening live today, those that are on our Facebook Live, and for those folks that are actually going to listen to this after we repost it on our website. Thomas and I would really like it if you would go to ibuychattanoogahouses.com and actually like our page. And if you have done some work, if we've done some work with you in the past, or the kind of work that we do, we would also like for you to put a good review on there as well. Because here again, we're trying to build up our focus as being the go-to people as far as the rehab and remodeling here in town. We are slowly getting to that point right now, but we want to be the people to go to if you've got a house that you need to sell. And here again, I'm Wally Reese with iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. Feel free to give us a call on our webpage, and our webpage number, which is 834-7321. Go to our Facebook page at I Buy Chattanooga Houses, and go to our website at iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. Let us know how we can help you out. And if you've got that problem house, we would love to help you find a solution on how we can take care of that property for you. Tune in to us next week at 11 o'clock. Thomas DeMoss will be here with our interior designer. You don't want to miss that. Have a great weekend.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Sell your house now. Let iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com ditch your albatross. Get rid of it. Get a move on. Get it off your back. iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. You pick the closing date. 834-7321. Top dollar. iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
It is Eric Jones hard into the outside wall, and they are still 3 and 4 wide. It looks like we're racing at Talladega.
Caution flag is out. It looked like Denny Hamlin was trying to get by Ricky Stenhouse. Got into the back of Ricky at the line. Man, that's a close one. Matt Kenseth wins stage 1.
Green checkered flag is out, and Brad Keselowski has won stage 2.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. into the wall. That will bring out the caution. Caution waving once again. And again, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved.
Oh, trouble. Ty Dillon has got
BLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga, WSDT Sunny Daisy Chattanooga.
Previously on The Herd.
Okay.
Whether you like the Patriots or not, in a close game late, have you ever once thought against Belichick, my guy will be better with details? Never. Because Bill thinks of everything, even if he's wrong.
A new day in The Herd.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is The Herd.
The Herd.
With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
Best show on radio.
This is The Herd.
Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The Herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Christine Leahy is joining me on a robust and dynamic Thursday.
Why is it robust?
Oh,
that sounds like a soup.
It is robust and dynamic with broth. We've got all sorts of things today. I want to start with this. I'm an opinion guy. I don't have access to a lot of locker rooms. I could, but it's not what I do anymore. So I am an opinion guy. I don't consider myself some grand journalist. I do understand journalism. I do understand there are certain principles, get things double sourced. But I tend to lean on people who have a history, not a 22-year-old blogger. Give me a 50-year-old NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball guy that's been doing it a long time, that has built up an archive of sources. And yesterday, Chris Sheraton has been doing this a long, long time, covering the NBA since the Peter Vesey days, that kind of thing. David Aldridge. NBA sources said today, quote, this will be LeBron's final season in Cleveland. He is 100% leaving. Relationship with owners beyond repair. Okay, let's think about that. Who is Chris Sheraton? The same guy that was way ahead of the crowd 3 years ago, reporting LeBron would likely leave the Heat for the Cavs, which obviously happened. There's a precedent. There's a history. He's been right before on LeBron. Translation. He's got good sources on LeBron. But let's not talk Chris Sheraton. Let's talk LeBron. Did you notice that LeBron did not tweet yesterday that Chris Sheraton was wrong? And LeBron was all over. I checked on Twitter yesterday. Foundation, charity, wife, friends, hoops. No denial. Well, Colin, I mean, come on. He was busy. LeBron immediately denied the Stephen A. Smith story that LeBron wanted to kick Kyrie Irving's butt. Immediate denial. Remember when that story came out? LeBron eager to trade Kyrie. Immediate denial. Remember when the former general manager, David Griffin, was being let go? Immediate tweet in support of David Griffin. When David Blatt was fired, an immediate, I had nothing to do with it. Chris Sheraton, he's gone. It's over. Crickets. There's a follow-up tweet by Chris Sheraton, NBA reporter. One follow-up tweet on LeBron leaving. Denials from his reps are disingenuous. They will/must lie to protect his image. Look up the word disingenuous. Hypocrites. Translation. He got it from people close to LeBron. What have I said about LeBron? He is in stage 3 of his career, i.e. the mogul stage, where brand protection now trumps winning basketball games. Brand protection for Spielberg, Jay-Z, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, when they get to stage 3 of stardom. First, it's look at me. Second, it's platinum records. Third, it's the mogul stage. What are you saying, Colin? By LeBron not denying it in the first 24 hours, he is softening the blow for when, not if, he leaves. Don't you think it's interesting, too, that when LeBron left Cleveland initially, it never got out? When LeBron left Miami before the letter, it never got out. Yet a year ahead of time, this is getting out. It's getting out because somebody is okay with it being out. You laughed at LeBronzo. You laughed. Business here. Judd Apatow, Ron Howard, Brentwood Mansion. LeBronzo coming to the Staples Center nearest you. You know I'm right on this. You know I am. Just put that up. Show the audience that this is happening. Okay, I want to shift gears to Mayweather McGregor.
That looks ridiculous, by the way.
Kevin Iole covers boxing and now UFC. He's a very good writer. We bring him on this show. Column in his newspaper, why the Nevada Athletic Commission was wrong to approve lighter gloves. Yes, they did. Instead of 10-ounce, they're using 8-ounce gloves. Kevin Iole writes, a very legitimate reporter, the Nevada Athletic Commission might as well be a for-profit business and not a state regulatory body, given the message it sent yesterday, when it approved a request for Floyd and Conor to wear smaller gloves. You know he's right. He also said the commission often pays lip service to its duty to protect the health and safety of the fighters. You know he's right. He continues, the regulations were put in place for a reason, and this ruling simply creates liability should a tragedy occur. Once again, Kevin Iole is right. And he finishes by saying the commission was going to do whatever it took to get this bout done. That's the bottom line. And he's right again. Yet I am not bothered by any of it. Boxing began with no gloves and unlimited rounds. Then they shifted to gloves and limited rounds. Was a study ever done to change those moves? Nope. Then they were 12 rounds and it was reduced to 10. Did a doctor or a study determine that 12 rounds equaled instant death? 10 rounds is living well into your 90s. No study done. By the way, 10-ounce gloves are used at 154 pounds in boxing in Nevada. At 147, you can use 8-ounce gloves. Was a study done on that? No. My point is boxing has been making it up on their own forever. Can you imagine NASCAR saying the speed limit is now at 184 miles an hour? 188, you're in peril. 184, it is smooth sailing. You can drive to the grocery store at that speed. That's what this sounds like to me. The gloves now are the issue. Now think about this. The gloves now are the issue. The Nevada Athletic Commission okayed a fight between the world's best pound-for-pound fighter and a man who's never boxed. And I'm worried about something the weight of a slice of bread. This is like complaining that the mob is upcharging on garbage pickup as they whack 7 guys down the block on the pier. This is calling up the Nevada Athletic Commission and saying, I just saw a bunch of mob guys take out baseball bats and whack people over the head, may have killed them, and drive off. And the Nevada Athletic Commission saying, you know, that's fine, but what really bothers us is the mob guys weren't wearing seatbelts. They sanctioned this fight between the world's best fighter and a guy who hasn't boxed. The gloves thing is a slice of bread. Even when the gloves, wear them here, not wear them there, 12 to 10 rounds. Studies done on any of this stuff. The people who get hurt in boxing know they're boxing. This has been a sport with very little unification, commission to commission, state to state, weight class to weight class. Once you sanction this fight, it was a circus. And both adult participants signed off on the circus. All right, good stuff today. Chris Broussard, have not seen him in a long time, is going to address the Chris Sheraton tweet. Floyd Mayweather Sr. will stop by. I have never spoken with him. I think his son will win the fight, win every round, and rarely get hit. Seth Joyner in studio as well today here in Los Angeles. It is, I did see something yesterday. Jay Glazer was at these NFL camps, and he was at really interesting camps. He was at the Carolina camp. He was at the Jay Cutler Miami Dolphin camp. He was at the Patriot camp. And he interviewed Brady yesterday, and there was a really interesting comment between Jay Glazer and Tom. And I want you to look at Tom's appearance, by the way, because that's something too, and that's coming up next. It is National Make a Will Month at LegalZoom.com. And that means it's time to take control of your family's assets and take control of your family, preparing them for the sad days when it all ends, right? LegalZoom creates an estate planning kit now, and it's free. Just go to LegalZoom.com/prepare. Free kit. All sorts of discounts. Okay? Tools for you to build a will, a trust. Discounts, ebook, estate plan checklist. You want to get this stuff buttoned up. I did this several years ago. Got more questions? Always get advice from their network of attorneys in 50 states. It's not a law firm. Transparent pricing. Go to LegalZoom.com/prepare today. Okay? Get ahead of the inevitable. No obligation, just great resources to help you protect everything you care about. National Make a Will Month. That's LegalZoom.com/prepare.
Switch to AT&T Prepaid and get 2 months of free service with no annual contract on AT&T's network. 2 months free, huh? You know, my wife wanted 2 months free. Then she jetted off to the Canary Islands and met some tennis pro named Sergio.
Kevin?
She doesn't even like canaries.
You want to stick to the script, please?
Right. Sorry, Dan.
It's done.
Done. With AT&T Prepaid, you can watch all of your favorite shows with no annual contract. Wow. No annual contract? No commitment at all? Remind you of anyone, Don?
Maybe your wife?
Bingo.
Can we wrap this up, Kevin?
Sorry, Doug. That's prepaid your way from AT&T.
Great. Thank you.
Sure beats whatever Sergio's offering.
Okay, that's it. I'm cutting the legal.
Limited time offer. Requires payment at activation. Taxes extra. Account must remain active on $45 or $65 plan and cannot lapse to get bill credit for 3rd and 12 months. Fees covered and other restrictions apply. Details at att.com/prepaid.
Okay, here we go, people.
This is The Herd
Where are you again?
With Colin Cowherd.
What happens as you age, and this is happening to Tom Brady, he is entering a very unforgiving place, and I like to call it the whisper tunnel. His uniqueness, his mistakes will be judged differently. And when Tom has a bad first half like the Super Bowl, he was in the whisper tunnel. Tom is up. He just can't avoid the rush like he used to. When Tom has a bad second half this year, he's wearing down. I mean, you can just see it. Although he had all sorts of bad halves in his late 20s and early 30s. Brady right now, and I sense this last year, entered the whisper tunnel, and he's going to be in the whisper tunnel this year. When the whispers become audible with a young, athletic, handsome, virile Jimmy Garoppolo, then you know Tom's in trouble.
This is The Herd.
That guy's a nerd.
With Colin Cowherd.
What?
And the category and things that don't go together.
Football and rainforests.
Correct.
Ice cream and motor oil.
Correct.
Open government and closed doors.
Correct. Your freedom of information under the First Amendment isn't a game. Open government works best when the people's business is truly conducted in the open. Find out more on your state's freedom of information laws and how that freedom is being threatened by visiting www.sunshineweek.org. There's a reason why the right to know is the First Amendment. www.sunshineweek.org. A public service of this station and the Radio and Television News Directors Association.
All over America, people are taking the National Radon Test. Have you?
I never thought about it. I don't know.
I think it's a secret killer or a silent killer.
Poison gas that seeps into the house.
That's one of the tests we did with the inspector before buying the home.
Why worry about it?
Why worry? Take the National Radon Test. True or false? Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer.
True. I'd say false.
No, it's true.
I thought of cigarettes and then pollution. That's something new to me.
Radon can penetrate a concrete block.
False.
False? It's true.
I wouldn't know how they could protect you from that.
It's scary.
The Office of the Surgeon General recommends all homes be tested for radon.
False.
It's true.
So that's bad. We should get our house tested.
We must rid our house of radon.
RADON.
Call 1-800-693-5343 or visit learnmore.kstate.edu. Sponsored by KDHE and the Kansas Radon Program at K-State. 1-800-693-5343.
If you're like most people, you've got a calendar to help you stay organized, or a day planner, or some PDA you're still figuring out how to use. And it helps keep track of the anniversaries and birthdays that our overworked brains can't remember. That way we know exactly when things will happen and how long we can put off making arrangements for them. But there are some things in life that we can't put on our calendar because we don't know when they'll happen, if at all. Like some sort of household emergency, or a disaster, or even a fire. But when it does, the time to prepare for it has already passed. So get together with your family today and prepare for the unexpected by establishing a family disaster plan with help from your local Red Cross. That way you'll all know exactly what to do in the event of an emergency. Where to go, who to call, how to help each other. But do it today so you won't get caught by surprise tomorrow. When we come together, we become part of something bigger than us all. To find out how to make your family disaster plan, visit redcross.org. The American Red Cross. Together, we can save a life.
Each team has a solid lineup. Well, here's ours.
Let's go.
Check it. The Dan Patrick Show. Doug Godley. The Ben Maller Show. Outkick the coverage with Clay Travis. The Rich Eisen Show. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
He's fun and flashy. Now think about that.
Steve Gorman Sports. The Jason Smith Show. And JT the Brick.
Now here we go.
Now that's the lineup.
Oh my God.
You hear them all right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Hi, it's the Herd. When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Now back to the Herd.
Welcome back. It is great to have you in on a Thursday. I have all sorts of energy on today's show, Christine. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I'm energized by today's show.
By the show or something you had for breakfast?
Well, I have tomorrow off, and I take some Fridays off.
Oh, yeah. Who am I doing the show with tomorrow?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Doug Gottlieb.
You're kind of on your own.
I'll do the show.
Go for it. That'd be great. Gottlieb next hour, by the way. So one of the advantages of youth, of being young, is energy. I remember when I was young, man, you can go out and party. I can remember when I was young and I'd play basketball, pick up basketball. I could sprain an ankle and the next day I could play hoops. I could drink, next day get up 6 a.m, play basketball. It doesn't work that way when you hit the 40s, 50s, 60s. You can still play basketball, but the world changes. That's the advantage of youth. That's the great thing about being young, man. You bounce back fast. Your body just bounces back fast. Doesn't matter how well you take care of yourself. Your body bounces back at 24 better than 44, and then better at 64. So the advantage of being older, I'm not going to say old, is wisdom. That you can build up an archive of knowledge and rely on it in crisis. Tom Brady yesterday talked to Jay Glazer. Glazer's going around the country in this bus. It's really cool. He was on our show yesterday, all sorts of good information. And Brady talked to Jay about aging and when he's going to leave.
I feel like I've worked hard to get to this point. So going into my 18th year, I've learned a lot. I've had the experiences, played the defense, played in the big games. And I still feel like I can perform at a really high level. So I think now this is the time to really start having fun. I mean, every time I go on the field, I feel like, all right, well, I know what to do. I know how to do it. I know where to go with the ball. And, football is in some ways easier now for me than it ever was because, it's just, I've been doing it longer. I've had the experience and, hopefully that experience can pay off.
For every veteran lawyer in a courtroom, for every veteran teacher in a classroom crisis, for Sully Sullenberger landing on the Hudson, the instincts, you can't teach it. I don't care if you went to Harvard. I don't care if you went to Yale. I don't care if you went to USC football. Tom Brady has thrown 9,600 NFL passes. Marcus Mariota has thrown 800. Round that up, 10,000 to 800. Tom's seen every scheme, every blitz, every stunt, every coverage, every trick, every scenario. Every one of them. That's the advantage. I don't care if you went to prep school. I don't care how smart you are. If you do something for 30 years, I have an archive that you can't have. This is what comedians do. You ever watch a veteran comedian, you go to a show, and they perform, and they do a 45-minute bit, and the audience, they've got strong stuff, and then they've got some weaker stuff, and the audience gets comedians, and I know a few of them, they always have 2, 3, 4, 5 jokes in their arsenal that if the crowd is dead, if they're not paying attention, if you need a big laugh, the comedian goes to it. For years and years, Jerry Seinfeld had this classic joke. It was his go-to joke that always got laughs.
So they're showing me on television the detergents for getting out bloodstains. Is this a violent image to anybody? Bloodstains? I mean, come on, you got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
That was his go-to. That was his go-to. I have another friend, Jeff Cesario, that's got a hysterical joke about Starbucks, and it's his classic go-to. And this is what Brady has, that when people say, when you go into a game with New England, like you are at such a pre-snap disadvantage against Tom Brady, it's not really fair. And Tom now knows it. And Tom is saying, why would I want to retire now? Good God, I'm at such an advantage over Jared Goff and Tyrod Taylor and even Andrew Luck. And for everybody I understand there's advantages to youth. And there are times I'm jealous. I would love to be able to work after 3 hours sleep. Stay up later, bounce back after I sprain my ankle. I'm jealous. You got me on that. But the archive you have for the veteran teacher, lawyer, quarterback, attorney, principal, landscaper, you can't duplicate it, regardless of how good your school was. You can't duplicate it. Christine with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Yesterday, I told you that the Knicks were not interested in trading for Kyrie Irving if it meant giving up Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
today there's a report that comes out that said that there continues to be distance between Kristaps Porzingis and the Knicks.
Yeah.
So they're in a bit of a tough spot
Yeah.
and have to make a tough decision. Would you rather take the risk of having Kyrie
Oh,
and get rid of the player who doesn't really want to be there?
Now, that's a really good question, Christine. I think Kyrie is slightly better than Porzingis, but I think in New York to have a star point guard from Duke that has been in the finals, if I was the Knicks, I would make the move tomorrow. Now, the question is, what's Cleveland going to do? Well, Cleveland's in a situation where Kyrie doesn't want to be there. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. If Porzingis is available, player for player, that may be as good as you can do. Now, I think Kyrie in New York would be a superstar. I don't think he'd lead him to anything, but I think if you want a little more attention and I think Kyrie in New York would be amazing for the NBA.
I agree. I just don't see Kyrie ever staying there because if you look at the reasons why he's leaving Cleveland, it's because it's not a well-run organization. And so he's looking for some stability, and New York does not offer that.
Okay, how about if I say this? If I was Cleveland, I'd make this deal in a second. If I'm New York, haven't they been a short-term operation?
Yeah, so maybe I would do that. And I'm a firm believer that if a player doesn't want to be somewhere, you've got to get rid of him because he's not going to give you his all. And then you just have a lot of turmoil within the organization, the roster.
Yeah.
Dana White says that the Mayweather-McGregor fight is on track to be the biggest pay-per-view ever. His 2016 fight, Mayweather's fight with Pacquiao, set a world record 4.6 million in pay-per-view buys. So it makes sense that this would go past that for two reasons. One, because at the ticket prices right now, no one's watching that in person. There's still so many seats available, so you've got to watch it on TV. And two, because you have UFC fans and boxing fans both paying to watch this. It's not just one fan group.
Right. You know what's happening with this, Christine? And I think Floyd's going to win every round. He's going to win the fight, and McGregor's rarely going to touch him. But I will say this. Over the last week, when you release those videos, it does something to my small brain that I am at least now, and I thought about this driving in this morning when I had my 20 minutes to kind of ruminate and figure stuff out. There is part of me that's heard so many people talk on this. I am thinking to myself, it may be more interesting than I think. Like McGregor's going to go all in, chase him around, swing for the fences.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes, Christine. This doesn't have to be a great fight. If people like me think we're going to get a knockout either way, that's what I'll pay for.
Except for that Floyd really isn't a knockout kind of guy.
I know. But what if he gets crowded and he has to hit? What if McGregor gets in his grill?
I also think we have to take into consideration that Conor is used to getting hit. He's used to getting pounded.
And is willing to.
He can take a punch.
That's my point. Conor knows he can take the punch. Conor's going to go right up to him, bang, bang, bang. And Floyd's going to have to hit back, and we're going to have a brawl.
I hope so.
So do I.
I also think that Floyd is a businessman, and he knows that he's got to let this thing go for some rounds. Otherwise, people are going to be very disappointed. And finally, Bill Belichick gave us a great soundbite yesterday. He was asked, they're practicing currently with the Texans, so he was asked about his long-standing relationship with Romeo Crennel, and pay attention to his answer.
Romeo and I started together at the Giants in special teams, so he and I coached special teams together, and then we coached defensively together through 1990, worked at the Patriots together, then another team, and then back with the Patriots in 2001.
Did you notice what team he left out?
What?
The Jets.
Oh,
he literally wouldn't mention the Jets, which tells me a couple things about Bill Belichick. He is very calculated in his answers. We might think he's just trying to give us nothing.
Yes.
But he actually gave us something there. And he's also kind of still sore about that situation.
Yes. Listen, anytime people say they don't listen and make a point of telling you they don't listen, they listen.
Exactly. Well, no, I think sometimes that's true. I've talked to a lot of basketball players who say, listen, I really do not watch TV. I don't watch debate shows. I don't watch sports talk.
They hear about it.
They hear about it because their friends tell them about it.
Then they go to YouTube and watch our clips.
No, not all of them do. Some do.
Hi, Russell. I know you're watching.
He's
Hello,
not.
Russell Westbrook.
I promise he's
I
not.
swear to God, right now he's watching. Hi.
Definitely not, but he's going to hear about this.
Christine with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Okay, Chris Sheraton's a longtime NBA guy. He insinuated years ago LeBron was going to leave Miami before it happened. Remember, he was on that. Let's bring in my guy via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network, Chris Broussard. Fox Sports Radio, our NBA guru, Chris Broussard, joining us. Okay, first of all, let's just start with the source, Chris Sheraton. He's been around a long time. So is Chris Broussard, David Aldridge. A lot of you guys, Peter Vessi's now getting back into it. There's a lot of you guys been around forever. Chris Sheraton, when he says something, I'm like, okay, he's not a 19-year-old blogger. So I kind of look at it and I think, well, he's accumulated sources. Chris, I mean, why is Chris Sheraton? What do you make of that?
Chris has been around the league as long as anybody. You said it. But I don't believe he talks to LeBron's inner circle. And at this point, anyone who would know whether or not LeBron is definitely leaving the Cavaliers would be a member of his inner circle. I talked to a few of those guys yesterday, and they emphatically denied the report. They emphatically denied that they've, talked to Chris Sheraton about it. And really, they said, look, LeBron doesn't know what he's going to do at this point. It is true. He is not about to commit to Cleveland long term, whether it's today or whether it's any time before the end of this season. He's not going to commit. That doesn't mean, though, that he is leaving there. This has been LeBron's MO since he went back to Cleveland. He's won maybe 1+1 type deals to kind of keep his options open. Look, they are swearing to me that LeBron has made no decision, that this report is completely false, and that he's not going to make a decision. And they said, unless you hear it from Savannah directly or somebody like that, you can't believe it. And I have to take their word for it.
All right, let's get to the Kyrie LeBron. There was a story the other day from a local guy that they had a meeting and it wasn't fisticuffs. They sat down and talked. Just give me some. You have good intel on this. Let's take Kyrie's side. Why does he want out? Was a deal ever closed somewhere else? Lay it out for our audience.
There are a few things. One, I have been told that they have not met, LeBron and Kyrie. So it's possible they were in a room together. Maybe it was a big room, a huge event going on. I don't know. But I'm told they did not meet. They have not spoken or met yet. Now, as far as Kyrie's reasonings for wanting to be gone, one, there is LeBron just looms large over that franchise. And a lot of people there are on pins and needles. Yeah. And they're completely drinking the LeBron Kool-Aid. That's not Kyrie's style. And that rubs him a little bit the wrong way. Secondly, Kyrie wants to run a team as a point guard. It's not just about him wanting to be the man. Okay. Certainly he wants to get his credit. And he feels like he hasn't gotten his due credit. It feels like people are saying, oh, LeBron just took you to the championship and all that. Look at the teams he wants to go to. San Antonio. He's not going to be the man there. Kawhi's there. Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins are there. Kyrie wouldn't necessarily be the man there, but he would be the ball handler, the point guard, the guy that gets to run the offense. And even though a lot of people, including myself, wonder, is that really Kyrie's game? He definitely thinks that's his game. I'm a point guard. Finally, the final straw as to why he wanted out of Cleveland or wants out of Cleveland, I'm told that the Cavaliers had a deal done heading into the draft. This was reported by Cleveland Scene magazine. Nobody really picked it up. I've talked to a few people. They've said it was definitely true. But what the deal was that Cleveland would send Kyrie to Phoenix, which does want Kyrie. Robert Sarver wants Kyrie Irving. They would send him to Phoenix. Phoenix would send Eric Bledsoe and the number 4 pick back to the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers would send the number 4 pick to Indiana for Paul George. So you're getting Eric Bledsoe and Paul George for Kyrie Irving. Now, that was going to happen. Dan Gilbert goes to LeBron and says, look, we got this deal on the table. I'll do it if you'll commit long-term to stay in Cleveland. LeBron won't commit. Now, you can read into that if you want that he would leave or to keep his options open. But he would not commit. so Dan Gilbert would not do the deal. Now, Kyrie Irving finds out about the deal, whether it was from David Griffin telling him after he left or however he found out, but he found out about the deal, and he assumed and he rightly assumed, there's no way the Cavaliers are doing this unless LeBron gives consent. That's why he got mad with LeBron. He thought LeBron was in on it. LeBron's take was more, look, I'm not trying to trade Kyrie Irving. He's great. But that's a heck of a deal, Eric Bledsoe and Paul George. So if you do it, hey, that's a great deal. But Kyrie took it as LeBron wanted him out of there. A few days or a week later, that's when Kyrie made his trade request. So that was like the final straw as the Kyrie saying, I'm getting out of here.
Man, that was the best 2 minutes in the history of your NBA takes. That was fascinating behind-the-scenes story. And finally, okay, I keep calling it LeBronzo. I'm going to trademark this thing. Business, Judd Apatow, Ron Howard, Brentwood Home. I believe all superstars from Jay-Z, Eminem, all the stars, they go from look at me, they go to the title platinum record stage, and then they segue like MJ did into the mogul stage. And I do believe LeBron is segueing now into the mogul stage where he's got titles, he won't catch MJ, he's got his money, and that the Lakers take him to a new level of branding in a mogul stage. Give me your thoughts on the Laker thing. I mean, you just gave me people Kyrie's interested in. Minnesota, San Antonio. Where is LeBron on the Laker interest scale?
Well, your theory makes some sense. I mean, obviously, all types of things would be, there would be all types of opportunities for LeBron in LA. But remember, he's already a business mogul. He's the greatest business mogul we've seen during his playing career in NBA history. So he's already doing that from Cleveland and from Miami before that. So I don't feel like he needs to go to LA. And I don't think he feels like he needs to go to LA to, further his business mogulism, if you will. But here's my thought, Colin, and I want your take on this too. If LeBron James goes to the Lakers, in my opinion, he better win a title, because it's one thing for Paul George to go to the Lakers and get them to the second round, Western Conference Finals, whatever, but not deliver a title. He's Paul George. He's not on that historic level like LeBron. Every Laker who has been on LeBron James's level, or even a little below, Kobe, Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Magic, Kareem, you can go, all of the guys at that level have delivered championships. If LeBron goes to the Lakers, say with Paul George, and they go out in the second round, they go out in the Western Conference Finals, they go out even in the finals, that is not enough. And I think that's a nick on his legacy. So I think that's something that LeBron has to think about, but he has to do the math. If he stays in Cleveland and gets to the next two finals and loses and is 3-7, 3-8, whatever it would be, or is that worse than going to the West and go out in the second round of the conference finals? He has to weigh that. I think Skip Bayless told me himself he would kill him more for staying in Cleveland and keep losing in the finals. Yeah, no, I'll tell you this. I would rather, if I'm going to lose to the Warriors, I would rather lose with a young, improving young group of Lonzo and Brandon Ingram and Paul George than an old group of J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, whoever can't defend. I think the Lakers is the natural play. I think it's like opening up his pizza brand business, which he did a couple years ago. It may take a while, but it's exciting. It has a Silicon Valley feel to it. If you're going to lose with youth, energy, experimentation, and fun. Staying in Cleveland and losing is just awful. It's repetitive, it's old, and it's boring. And that LeBron's not boring. So there's my take. Here's the thing, though. If LeBron James, I think this goes along with your theory. If he's thinking, okay, I'm about to leave my prime, I'm ready to hand over the team to somebody, and just maybe he still is the best player in the world. But if I'm the Lakers, and look, you take LeBron James if you can get him, no questions asked. But I want the ball in Lonzo Ball's hands. I don't want LeBron bringing it up 60% of the time if I have Lonzo Ball and I'm the Lakers, assuming he's what we saw in Summer League. And so I think if LeBron is saying, I'll go play with Lonzo Ball, and you know what? I'm going to be a scorer. I'm going to average 30 points. I'm not going to be a point guard half the time. I'm not going to take the ball out of Lonzo's hands. Then I love that connection. But if he's going to go there and handle the ball like he does in Cleveland, and Lonzo's going to play off the ball half the time when he can't really shoot, I don't know that helps their growth going forward unless they're able to win a championship.
Yes.
If they can win a championship with LeBron handling the ball and Lonzo playing off the ball, that's fine. Do it. But I don't know if it helps your growth if you're going out in the second round.
Stylistically, I think you make a good point. Speaking of stylistically, a nice Burberry shirt by Chris Broussard, who looks very Wall Street today.
Do we think is that Burberry?
It's a very nice shirt.
Thank you.
It's a very expensive, nice tailored shirt. Is it not?
I like that image, so I'll let it play. I have my secret, so I can.
Yeah.
I'm a value shopper.
Yeah. There you go.
Good for you, Chris.
Good seeing you, buddy.
All right, you too.
All right, coming up next. Oh, my Lord. You had to laugh. The story I have next, sometimes you have to laugh in life. And something happened yesterday, and even a tough guy, in the end, had to laugh about it. That's next. Running errands to go out with the fam, getting to the studio to do my show. I depend on my car just like you depend on yours. Let me ask you this. If your car broke down today, can you afford the repairs? Could you? Do you have 24/7 roadside assistance? Do you have a rental car ready? Well, carshield.com provides that. Extended vehicle service protection. 24/7 roadside. Rental car. VIP treatment. Okay, you have your favorite mechanic, even the dealership you bought the car from, do the work, and then CarShield gets them paid directly. Don't worry about this reimbursement stuff. Get covered by CarShield. CarShield.com code HERD. That'll get you 10% off. You can call them too. 800-CAR-6100, 800-CAR-6100, and mention the code HERD, or just go to carshield.com code HERD. A deductible may apply.
Driver to driver, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Driving with Uber is the ultimate side hustle. It totally fits around your schedule, so you can earn whenever you have time. Maybe that's before breakfast on Sundays. Maybe that's after work on Mondays. It's totally up to you. That's the best part. Here's the other equally best part. With Uber's Instant Pay, you can get paid whenever you want. So get your side hustle on. Visit uber.com/drive now. That's uber.com/drive now.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car, because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. You know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun. And hey, you know what else you don't see? You don't see me leaving for work in the morning because I missed so much time with court and everything that I got fired.
Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Okay, here we go, people.
This is The Herd.
Where are you again?
With Colin Cowherd.
Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor is August 26th. And so yesterday I'm on Speak for Yourself, and we brought in a guy, I hadn't seen him in 30 years, John Horn. When I was in Vegas out of college, John Horn was in the Mike Tyson group. He had kind of a feisty relationship at times with the media. And he started talking about Conor McGregor. He was with Tyson as he rose, as he starred, and as he sank. John was through all of it. Some of the stuff he told me yesterday, I'm not going to share. It was off the record, but it was fascinating stuff. But we started talking about Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. And he talked about what McGregor doesn't have to win the fight. He just sort of needs to be viable and something could happen.
This is The Herd.
That guy's a nerd.
With Colin Cowherd.
What? Hi, I'm Tim McGraw. Every 2 seconds, someone in America needs blood. Accident victims, cancer patients, and individuals with blood disorders and other illnesses. They may live next door or up the block or across town. They're our neighbors. Yet only a small percentage of those who are eligible to give donate blood. A healthy blood supply comes from ordinary people, just like you and me. It's all about neighbors helping neighbors. Your gift of blood is needed now to help save lives. That's why I'm joining with my good neighbors at State Farm and the American Red Cross in the Neighbors Give Life campaign to raise awareness and to challenge you to donate blood. It only takes an hour of your time and can save the lives of up to 3 people. You can donate as many as 6 times a year, so make an appointment to donate at your local blood center and donate often. And won't you join me now in giving the gift of life? Be a hometown hero. Visit neighborsgivelife.com for more information about donating blood.
Shriners believe that every child deserves a chance to realize their full potential. A tragic gasoline explosion left young Dan Carroll covered with burns and with a slim chance of survival. That is, until a local Shriner heard about the accident.
Almost immediately, magic started happening.
Dan was airlifted to a Shriners hospital.
The doctor said, I know you're expecting the worst, but this is a Shriners hospital, and we're the finest burn center in the world.
Without the Shriners, I wouldn't be here right now. Like, seriously.
Shriners Hospitals offer some of the world's finest orthopedic and burn medical care to kids, totally free of charge. And there's a Shriners Hospital helping kids from this area. Today, Dan is a professional jazz drummer with a bright future.
I can do whatever I want to do. There's no limitations, and they help you learn that.
If you know a child that the Shriners could help, call 1-800-237-5055. Shriners, giving help and hope to kids for over 80 years.
As one of the over 3 million healthcare professionals in America, do you worry about not communicating effectively with some patients?
May I help you?
Could differences in language and culture maybe mean you need to explain why a medicine or medical treatment is necessary?
Hey, you're right on time.
Being understood and accepted by people of different cultures and backgrounds is still a challenge. For example, Mrs. Hernandez, a 66-year-old Latina whose doctor recommends a mammogram.
The radiologist will be with you shortly.
Raised to think cancer always means death, she may skip the test and not even want to know. But her doctor understands family is important to Latino culture and points out that a mammogram could save her life so she could care for her family.
That wasn't so bad now, was it?
Millions of public health professionals face problems like this every day. For the latest research on these new healthcare communications challenges, the book Speaking of Health is free online at nap.edu, a free resource for any health professional looking to better serve the public. Speaking of Health at nap.edu.
Now let's go.
Are you ready to enjoy this?
Well, let me have it.
It's the sports and entertainment that you crave.
Ready to dominate the ear holes of America.
24/7, 365 days.
This is what I love about radio. Let's get to the news story of the day. I would agree. I'll be the first to agree.
We're live and we're giving you what you need.
That's how dominant I think they are.
Trust me, I'm not lying to you.
You know what they say.
This is Fox Sports Radio. And we're back. It's music time. Broadcasting live from Los Angeles.
It's a wonderful thing.
And we're back. Back to the herd.
It is time to come clean with my audience.
With Colin Cowherd.
The True Car you can find what other people in your area pay for the same car you're looking for. Save $3,000 off MSRP. Visit True Car to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. I just saw that Dodger promo. Seen the Dodgers play 3 times this year. Good God, they're good. And they win the same way every time. They start slow, 6th inning. All their batters start seeing for the 3rd time that pitcher. Bang, bang, bang. Seager, Chris Taylor, Justin Turner, boom, Belvinger, bang, bang, bang. Every game I've seen the exact same way. Struggle first 6, then everybody sees the pitcher for the 3rd time. I'm telling you, the Dodgers right now may become the greatest baseball team ever in a regular season. They win 120 games. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, listen, I'm not a guy that lives, breathes, eats, sleeps regular season baseball. That is as good a team. And they don't have Kershaw's not pitching. In that lineup, they got Yasiel Puig hitting 8th. And that team can, if you like, you could be a marginal baseball fan. You go to a Dodger game, that is a great batting order. I mean, what's amazing about it, it's not big stars. Chris Taylor starts the year in the minor leagues. Their big slugger starts the year in the minor leagues. It is a remarkable team, and sometimes it's lightning in a bottle and the personalities work. And they got Adrian Gonzalez coming back. I don't even know if they can play him. He's like an all-star. I don't even know if they can get on the field. I can't believe I'm talking baseball. The Dodgers are 51 games over 500. They're 51 games over 500. We got 45 games to go. God, they are on fire, and they're a blast to watch. Okay. So Nick Saban does this, Christine, and he does this 4 or 5 times a year. And it's now become, I think it's funny now, that Nick Saban wants to complain about something, and he goes to a press conference, and he's going to try to find an opening or a segue to complain about what he wants to complain about. It has nothing to do with the reporter. It has nothing to do with the question. That Nick is in a bad mood, and he comes to that press conference, and I think it's funny now. It's become who Nick is, and I think, hey, listen, it's funny. He's funny. They become very funny. Every time he does it, I play it. So yesterday, Nick had something on his mind. He probably read a preseason prediction he didn't like, and somebody asked a completely harmless question about a sophomore linebacker, and that question set off this.
Christian Miller is a guy that y'all have relied on as kind of like a reliable backup the last few years. What have you seen from him kind of emerging? It seems like he's going to be one of those pass rush guys.
Who'd you say?
Christian Miller.
Oh, I don't know. You guys make all these predictions about everything, about guys that are going to be great players that have been here for 2 years and who's going to win all the games. And I don't even know why we play. Why do we even play? Why do we even have practice? Why do we compete? Why do we coach guys? How they need to improve? I mean, you guys got all the answers to, how guys are going to be, what they're going to do. I mean, sometimes I wonder, why do we play? I mean, why do we even have practice? Because you guys got all these conclusions already drawn about who's what, how good they are, what they can do. I mean, so why would you ask me? I mean, that's a part that's puzzling to me. Why would you ask me? I mean, I read stuff all the time like, oh, that's nice to know. I mean, where'd that come from? And then you ask me? But Christian Miller has done a nice job. He's had a really good camp. He's doing a good job. I mean, had a lot of production points in the scrimmage. So we're really happy with his progress. And, thanks for asking.
Nick was just in a mood, and he wanted to get that out. You ever ask your mom or your dad for like a ride to a friend's house when you were a kid? Like, hey, Mom, could you just give me a ride to Jack's house? And she goes on a 6-minute rant on NAFTA or global warming, and you're like, well, Mom's in a bad mood. Mom just had to get that off her chest. And Mom's not really mad at me. I shouldn't take it personally. Mom's just mad. She had a bad day. And maybe she was bringing groceries from the store or something and got bad service, or the bag broke, or maybe her and Dad got in a fight. And then 5 minutes later, after Mom rips NAFTA and global warming, Mom goes, yeah, let's go. Let's get in the car and go. And then Mom's done with it.
Or when your wife asks you to help with the dishes, and then it's not really about the dishes. She wants you to want to do the dishes. And you
First
get in
of all,
that
let me tell you something. Nobody wants to do the dishes.
No, but you should want to help.
Okay, that's
person
different.
Do the dishes.
My wife said that.
Yeah, like I remember the trash situation.
Yeah. No guy wants to do dishes and take out the trash. So
but you should want a happy wife.
I want to go watch the Dodgers win another series and have an IPA. I don't want to take out the garbage.
Then you're going to want your wife to stay with you and not divorce you.
My wife is a beautiful person. Did I tell you she went vegan? You ever tried vegan bacon? Don't.
It's not bacon.
Okay. So
he's cranky, isn't he?
No, listen, I like Nick Saban. I really do. I really like Nick Saban. People think I don't like him. I think he's a little bit of a hypocrite on the what players get suspended, what players don't. It largely depends on what's the depth chart look like. Ooh, left tackle, we're thin. That guy's okay. Right guard, we're loaded. Yeah, that guy, kick him off the team. I think he can be a hypocrite, but I do think all coaches can. But I just think this has become part and parcel of what Nick is. He's got something he wants to complain about, and he went to that press conference, and he's just looking for a chance to complain about it. He probably heard a prediction. He didn't like the prediction. He was ticked off. He wanted to get that out. And by the way, at the end, he's laughing about it because he knows he's being ridiculous. He literally knows at the end, I'm just being ridiculous about this. And I guarantee you, Nick Saban gets home and his wife is like, oh, good God, what was wrong with you today? What are you doing? That's just the way sometimes in life, people just in a bad mood, don't take it personally. They're ticked off. They were stuck in traffic. They start yelling. It's nothing against you. Let them have their space. And then in the end, they blow the steam off and they just go. I told you this before with my wife sometimes. Sometimes she has a bad day. I sit down, we pour a nice glass of wine, and my wife goes for about 15 minutes, and I don't know exactly what she's talking about, but she needed to talk, and I allow her the space to vent because she's been dealing with kids all day. and our dog, which is needy, and she just needs to vent. And I am there to be the dartboard sometimes, and I'm totally okay with it.
Okay.
And then she says, take the garbage out, and then we fight. That's all I'm saying. I do think I do think it's sort of interesting that this Conor McGregor Mayweather fight, this is what's really interesting about this, is everybody in the media is getting caught up now on the Nevada Athletic Commission allowing 8-ounce gloves from 10-ounce gloves. And I would just say this, it's boxing. Caveat emptor. Boxers who agree to box with a certain glove, I'm okay with. ISIS finds people not part of ISIS and injures them. Boxers only hurt boxers. And every boxer knows going in what boxing is. Come on.
But this whole glove thing sets a precedent. I think that's what people are upset about. And it's true. Like, yes, they're going to make this one-time exception, but they're also allowing a boxer that has a perfect record to fight someone who's never boxed. But it does set the precedent. Like, moving forward, if one guy asks for a different glove size, you have to now consider it.
Okay, you consider it and say no.
I just think it opens the doors. Then if Conor stays in boxing, what does that look like?
Boxing's never been unified, state to state, weight class to weight class, rule to rule. They're not hurting other people. Two great champions have agreed to terms on gloves. So to my thing is, okay, they're not affecting me or you.
Here's the thing about Blue Apron. You get the variety, new recipes each week. Or, by the way, Blue Apron's culinary team could surprise you. Recipes not repeated within a year. You'll never get bored. It's easy. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-portioned ingredients, prepared 40 minutes or less. And it's guaranteed. Every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Whole grain pasta and summer vegetables with heirloom tomato capri salad, just had that. Miso butter salmon and lo mein noodles. Meatball pizza with fresh mozzarella cheese and charmed tomatoes, had that too. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free. Free shipping too. Go to blueapron.com/Colin. Love how good it feels and tastes. Incredible home-cooked meals. Don't wait. blueapron.com/Colin. Blue Apron, simply a better way.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
Before 69-year-old Carol Gaddy held in Hamilton County Jail as a political prisoner, she refused to allow an illegal warrantless search of her home. A clash between commies and conservatives, that's what the Chattanooga police are afraid of. Rally's going to be held at Coolidge Park at 7:30 tonight by a group called Full Communism. At the same time, a group in support of a man who was fired from a local restaurant for attending the rally in Charlottesville are going to be coming. A cold corpse was found at an intersection in Ottawa Wednesday morning. Police say the body's been identified as Tiffany Page Floral, who's 21 years old. There are no visible signs of trauma. They're not sure how she died. Her body will be taken to the medical examiner's office. Hopefully they'll find a cause of death. You'd think it was Armageddon, not the eclipse. TDOT and various police agencies are warning that you should fill up your tank of gas and leave earlier if you're going to be watching the eclipse on the 23rd. Hamilton County schools will be closed for the event. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
Staying hot and humid out there through your evening hours. An isolated shower storm may push in from the west. That'll continue through your nighttime, lows 72 to 75. For Friday, after an early morning shower, drying out for the afternoon, highs near 90, mostly sunny and hot for the weekend. This forecast is brought to you by Hamilton Medical Center, featuring their neurosurgery and spine center in Calhoun, Georgia. Stop putting up with back pain. For an appointment, their number 706-529-9041. And I'm Swarm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Core. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Martin Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. He blocked him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
The voice of NASCAR.
I'm Thomas DeMoss, and we've got the cash. We will buy your house today. Need to sell your house? We want to buy your house, and we have the cash to do it. Call me now, 423-834-7321. That's 423-834-7321. We've been buying houses in the Chattanooga market for 10 years. We are local, and we can help. There's no obligations, only solutions. I buy ChattanoogaHouses.com. I'm Thomas DeMoss, and we've got the cash.
A $20 oil change right now at Precision Tune Auto Care. A standard $20 oil change at Precision Tune Auto Care. Hickson Pike, Gun Barrel Road, Highway 58 next to Dunkin' Donuts. A $20 oil change. Precision Tune Auto Care. Go now.
You've been in a wreck.
756-6400.
You've been wrongfully fired.
756-6400.
A turkey is suing you out of the blue.
756-6400.
Confused about a business startup?
756-6400.
That's the number for you. 756-6400. Right here, right now, Chattanooga. Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. Get biz advice now. Representation to fight for your right. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Don't sit on your rights. You've got remedies. Turn your tragedy into cash. You've got the solution from estate planning all the way to probate. Act now. Top attorneys in Chattanooga are waiting to help you get relief. Act now. No out of pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win, so win with us.
756-6400.
Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Turn your tragedy into cash. Act now. No out of pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win, so win with us.
756-6400.
756-6400.
Hi, this is Nadia behind the green door. You've had ice cream and you've had shaved ice, but have you had snow cream? It is amazing. It's light, airy, fruity snowflakes melting on your tongue. You need to come and see us. Highway 58, green door next to Hardee's.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. EJ Pelton Company, 332-3339.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
WBLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga, WSDT Saudi Daisy.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
Before 69-year-old Carol Gaddy held in Hamilton County Jail as a political prisoner, she refused to allow an illegal warrantless search of her home. A clash between commies and conservatives, that's what the Chattanooga police are afraid of. Rally's going to be held at Coolidge Park at 7:30 tonight by a group called Full Communism. At the same time, a group in support of a man who was fired from a local restaurant for attending the rally in Charlottesville are going to be coming. A cold corpse was found at an intersection in Ottawa Wednesday morning. Police say the body's been identified as Tiffany Page Floral, who's 21 years old. There are no visible signs of trauma. They're not sure how she died. Her body will be taken to the medical examiner's office. Hopefully they'll find a cause of death. You'd think it was Armageddon, not the eclipse. TDOT and various police agencies are warning that you should fill up your tank of gas and leave earlier if you're going to be watching the eclipse on the 21st. Hamilton County schools will be closed for the event. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect partly cloudy, hot, and humid weather out there through your afternoon. Highs 90 to 92. Could see a late shower or storm. That may continue through the nighttime. Lows 72 to 75. For Friday, after a morning shower, dry for the afternoon, near 90. Mostly sunny and hot for the weekend. Come to Larry's world-famous buffet in Trenton, featuring some of the finest home-style cooking around. Larry also offers catering, open Thursdays through Sundays. Larry's just off 559, off Highway 136 West Trenton. And I'm Swarm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Welcome to the Art Beat of Chattanooga on 92.7 FM, AM 1240, Nooga Radio. I'm Jill Ann Collins, your host, and we're here to talk about art, Chattanooga, and the heart and soul of the arts in the community here in Chattanooga. So I have today Courtney Flowers, local musician, and we've never met. So this is a great time to get to know Courtney. I hope you're tuning in at 92.7 FM, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Support Courtney. Give a call if you know her or want to call, 423-800-8949, 423-800-8949. And hey, Courtney, welcome.
Hi, nice to meet you, Jill.
Nice to meet you, Courtney. So I'm so glad you could come today on this hot, hot day, right? So I know next to nothing about you, even though we are Facebook friends.
Yes.
I troll Facebook for artists and musicians, and because of my job here, and I love finding all of you, but it's more difficult to follow each person's music one by one.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many of us.
There are. That's so amazing and awesome too. So let us know, who are you, Courtney?
Yes.
What makes you tick?
Okay, so when I'm not serving tables, I'm collaborating with my other roommates who are in a local jam band, Pinecone.
Oh, I just heard about them last night from someone. They were raving about you guys, about them.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got really good thing going on, very genuine.
That's
work
kind of like
really hard at what they're doing.
I just heard about that last night.
They just got back on tour from all the way to the Oregon coast. But yeah, I've been holding the fort down at the house. We have a little community garden and an art space. Live down in St. Elmo. So St. Elmo is a great little historic district. I'm sure as local Chattanoogans we know about that. And, it's a neighborhood and people know each other. They love each other and they've all kind of got a community art mindset. And so, we work together in the gardens and do art and working with a local playwright and UTC theater professor, Jeannie Hacker-Cerulean. She's the one who actually wrote the play that I'm going to be talking about that we're performing at Further Fest this weekend.
Further Fest?
Yes.
And where is that? Where is this going to be performed?
That's actually on a 110-acre farm in Nashville off of Eaton Creeks Road. Yeah, so it's going to be a drive. It's going to be going on from Friday to Monday. Just the theme this year is obviously going to be based around the eclipse. It's a live visionary arts festival, community-based, all ages. There's lots of families there from Nashville. It's a Psytrance farmers event. There's people coming from all over the world to see this eclipse because it's based in North America.
And I think Nashville is one of the highly viewable areas.
Yes. Obviously, got to watch out for clouds. I've heard rumors, but let's just hope the wind pulls through, kind of clears it up for us. This Tennessee weather is unpredictable.
If we can cause global warming, we can clear the clouds.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And plus Tennessee weather, you never know. It's a mixed bag.
Right. Predicting it that far ahead, it's not possible.
No, absolutely not.
What an exciting event. So this has been planned for some time, I assume.
Yes, it happens annually. This will actually be my first year going. I have been recruited. So as far as the grounds and where everything is located, I'm not sure, but I know what it's all about. And Jeannie's surely a veteran as far as that goes.
And what can our listeners Google to find you if they want to attend this event?
So it's going to be Further Fest, Nashville, Tennessee. There's an event on Facebook, Further Fest 2017, Further Down the Rabbit Hole. That's a play on the eclipse, sort of is the portal of time.
I love it. And I've seen that on Facebook, but I have not been aware of what it really was.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We're going to be doing improv workshops all weekend, and then I'm gonna be doing the play on Sunday, and then gonna camp out and see what there is to see in the sky.
So this is a camping. If you can't really sleep in your car, you either have to have a hotel room nearby or camp or something.
Yeah, it's a free camping event. I would highly recommend camping. Parking, there's a $20 parking pass. I don't know as far as whether or not they'll let you sleep in your car.
Because I don't have camping stuff, but I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah, I'm personally bringing my hammock and a tarp.
Wow, okay, creative. You're just going to get there and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you in the music scene here in Chattanooga, how is that going for you, Courtney?
Well, recently I've been kind of stepping back and experimenting with my own sound. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and I've got a few things in the works as far as that goes. But just being in a house with 6 other musicians in a full working studio and being able to jam with these people has really helped me grow. And we do have a distinct sound. It's very, I wouldn't say psychedelic, but very classic, almost like a 70s sound for sure.
That's awesome. So what an exciting time to live as a young person in the Chattanooga area, in this beautiful, beautiful city, and also enjoy living your lifestyle. Now, you mentioned that you're a server, so you're still a starving artist. I assume I'm much older and still a starving artist. So
it's a lifestyle.
It is. And I don't know about you, Courtney, but I've seen it where I'll take sometimes 3 to 6 months and I don't work outside of my own Vanguard artistry, and then I'll have to go to work for a while.
Yeah.
And you know, that's just how it is.
It's an entrepreneurial lifestyle for
It is.
sure. You've got to be able to build your own.
The most important thing is definitely a car and a place to live, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that is a fun fact about me. I've been getting around without a car for the past year and a half.
You have?
Yes.
How are you doing that?
I've just lived in the heart of the city. The past year I lived down on Georgia Avenue, so that's pretty central location and just easy to ride the bike or just get on the bus and just, go to work from there. And now that I'm in St. Elmo, I work in that little neighborhood restaurant, 1885.
I love that place.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, they've got specials every night, and then just it's a great little spot. Their patio is beautiful.
Yeah, St. Elmo's a wonderful little town that is, I think, making its mark more and more in the arts and in Chattanooga.
Absolutely. Oh, the house turnover rate there, very high demand, very high demand. Sometimes we get a lot of tourists in Chattanooga, as you know. We have a really high income tourism. I'm right beside the incline, so we get people from all over the country, all over the world, and sometimes I'll see them on their phones looking at Zillow, like looking at the houses for sale around the area. People are enchanted.
Yeah, I've noticed that when people come to Chattanooga, they do get enchanted with this place and the people here. Some folks who haven't been north, it is different because you have so much more access to the sunshine, the outdoors, and
absolutely.
Life.
We got to give ourselves more credit here, for sure.
That's what we're working on. Chattanooga, we're a big part of leading the modern renaissance in this world, and the millennials, and I'm not even sure what the next generation is called at this point. I don't know if there's a name, but I know I've met amazing people and artists.
Absolutely.
And just like meeting you, same thing. I'm working really hard. I'm passionate about my craft. I also work a job, and some people see us artist type people as hippies or something like this. But we're serious. We're serious. I took 3 months, and this isn't about me, but it's fun to talk back and forth with you. And I worked just my art for 3 months, and I ended up finally with a gallery wall at the street corner market that I just hung, and my original painted yoga mats there.
Oh, I would love to see that.
And there's potential for a mural that we're still, working on, and those can dissolve if corporate decides or whatever. But now I'm also going to be serving in the service industry. So same thing, work and play.
Absolutely. There's definitely a balance. And just, to stay in a positive mindset, some people kind of get down. Like, I was actually listening to an interview on NPR Fresh Air on the way here, and it was with this singer, sorry, I can't remember her name, but she has been in the service industry for the past 25 years as a single mother, and finally broke into her music career and acting career. And she was just talking about some of the resentment that she experienced on the job as a server, you know, thinking like, I'm not meant to do this. I should be on the stage, you know, having those thoughts. And I just try to turn, you know, spin on it, look at it as, you know, part of my skill set, just being able to make people smile and like cater to their understanding people's needs, and being able to read people and work with them on an intimate level is important. There's nothing more sensitive, or I mean, there's some sensitive things, but a person and their plate of food in front of them is a very sensitive thing. Like, you'd be surprised.
It's pretty important.
Eating is big. Meals and communion, it's a big thing. And setting the tone. And that's what I do as a musician, and that's what we do as visual artists, is set the tone. And we can set the tone in our day-to-day situations as well.
Yeah, I love that, Courtney, because, you know, I was raised in a traditional Baptist church and everything, and so much, this isn't about that, but it's about so much of the things. If you didn't go on the mission field, if you weren't a preacher, if you didn't marry a preacher, somehow you weren't ministering. And I'm hearing the same thought from you, that I always felt like all of life is a ministry. Every time I smile or make someone smile, that's important.
Yeah, it says, and it can even be applied on that this little light of mine sort of thing. You can still take that away.
Can you play that one? Or? It's pretty easy.
I haven't tried. But
you could probably whip that right out. I bet it starts with a C or maybe a G.
Something like that.
Well, are you going to sing us a song?
It's I was gonna maybe do some of the two of the songs that I was gonna do.
Okay.
Play this weekend and kind of talk about that and how they apply to the theme of the play and everything.
And I'm going to give you, Courtney, a disclaimer, because we aren't traditionally, as a talk radio station, set up for music, but we have done our best to give our people who come on this show an ability to play their music. So
absolutely.
I can assure you that when you meet Courtney in person, this, whatever you hear here, is going to be multiplied times 100. So go ahead and get set up, Courtney. And, you know, we're here with Courtney Flowers, and you got your guitar and everything. You're all set?
Yeah, I
right.
do. Before I do play something, kind of want to talk about what the play is a little bit.
Oh, yay.
And so what my character is, and kind of just like how the songs apply to the story and us in general. So the performance is called Robin Coming to a Forest Near You. And it's a bunch of environmental activists who kind of just washed up on the wayside, the forest on the outskirts of town. My character is Moth. I was a starving musician, artist, in this flash forward like 25 years. How about that? 25-year modern, metropolis. And I'm living in the park. Imagine Central Park. And I'm hanging over the bridge and I see a leaf, and being me, I follow the leaf. It gets stuck in garbage. I pull it out of the garbage and I follow it into the forest, and I see the stream become clear, and I'm just wandering around and I bump into this wizard tree. This is a modern day fairy tale, and this tree is being threatened. It's going to be cut down by this industry. And so long story short, I meet this band of wild animals, but they're just people dressed up like animals, and we kind of save the forest and create a plan to plant trees all along the river through the city and save the water supply. And so my songs are kind of based off of that.
Very cool. And we're here with Courtney Flowers, and we're sharing a play about the event this weekend called
Further Fest.
Further Fest. I'm having trouble remembering that. Further Fest. And
Eclipse 2017.
Yay! And the play involves a very common desire of many people in our generations that are here on the earth to save and assist our planet for its own beauty and for the future. So
absolutely
wonderful. Very exciting, Courtney. So this is the Art Beat of Chattanooga. Courtney Flowers. I think she's going to play us a song or two.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
Great.
We can get it arranged.
We'll try and do it without breaking anything. Got you a little tight there. I'll help you out with the mics if you need it.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Let's see. Shiver, shiver like a river. Shiver, shiver like a river. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Shiver, shiver like a river. Shiver, shiver like a river. Where's it go? Where's it go? Where's it go? Watch you know.
Well, that was lovely. Did you write this?
Yes, I collaborated with the playwright. That one's just about becoming one with our resources, the river, and kind of understanding where they come from and where they go.
So during the play, is there a place where you play this in response or relationship to what's happening?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Very nice. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
We got another one for us. We have about six minutes to this segment, and so we have time.
Okay, yeah. This one's called Never Give Up on You. It's just kind of about, you can relate it on a personal level, talking about not giving up on yourself, but also on like a basis of community and interpersonal relationships with each other, and not giving up on humans. You know, people are like, oh, I hate humans, I hate people, you know, and to an extent there is we all can understand where one is coming from on that, being frustrated with our fellow humankind, you know. Even from this standpoint, my character Moth is frustrated with industrial society and how it's kind of destroyed the earth, and you know, but not resent, you know, people like that. There's a character in the play named Peter Lance, and he is actually the son of this man who owns the corporation that's going to knock down the forest, and he works for his dad, and he goes in and he is going to stop us, this band of rebels, and he ends up becoming part of the cause and realizing the bigger picture, and so he kind of has a change of heart, and so it's about you know, not giving up and knowing that everybody has that seed of good. All right. See if I can get the microphones a little better situated for me this time.
Sounding pretty good on my end.
Thank you.
It's sounding pretty good.
Awesome. I'll never give up. I'll never give up on you. I knew
on me, breathe on me. I can see your everything, never give up on you. You'll never give up on me. Don't you see? I can see the forest in your eyes, and I can see the love you criticize. But why not try?
Very nice. So another song from the play by Courtney Flowers, and you're going to be having a wonderful time this weekend.
So excited.
And it's all about the solar eclipse, but it's also about saving the earth.
Yes, and it goes hand in hand, actually. This time around, we're going to kind of have the themed around the eclipse and how it's a reset button in our lives, if you think about it. Anybody follows the significance of the moon cycles.
It's a very fascinating time. Like, we were kind of kidding around. I think I'm going to lock myself in because who knows what's going to happen in this world. Don't turn on your electronics or anything, you know. No, it's going to be a fun, exciting time. And again, people, please do not look at the sun, because I do know a person who burned her retina and has a blind spot in her eye from looking at one when my children were young. And this was a young lady. It wasn't a child. And you really can and will, from just a glimpse, burn your retina. So please do not look at the sun without those special glasses.
And pay attention to your surroundings.
Because I don't hate people. I love people, and I want y'all to be able to see, because I'm an artist, a visual artist.
Yeah, no, it's important. Yeah, Further Fest is a visionary arts festival, so we kind of need our eyesight.
We want to keep everybody all doing as best as we can and support everyone. So it sounds like a lovely festival of good times and support. And I think a lot of memories will be made too. I hope there's videos and Facebook feeds going.
We'll see. I'm probably going to be off the grid just naturally. It's kind of hard for me to keep up with the screen and the, what's
You're just going to experience life without a screen?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
That's fantastic. Appreciate everybody joining us on the Art Beat of Chattanooga. Another wonderful local artist with great things going on and working for our world and our people and ourselves to spread what's within Courtney's soul. I try to spread what's in my soul, and then we meet and that energy joins.
Absolutely.
And we can just share with the world that we love people. So, I hope you can follow Courtney, and thanks for being here. And love you guys, the Art Beat of Chattanooga. Chattanooga Radio, 92.7 FM, AM 1240. We'll be back in a few minutes.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
You've been in a wreck.
756-6400.
You've been wrongfully fired.
756-6400.
A turkey is suing you out of the blue.
756-6400.
Confused about a business startup?
756-6400.
That's the number for you. 756-6400. Right here, right now, Chattanooga. Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. Get biz advice now. Representation to fight for your right. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. 756-644-6400. Don't sit on your rights. You've got remedies. Turn your tragedy into cash. You've got the solution from estate planning all the way to probate. Act now. Top attorneys in Chattanooga are waiting to help you get relief. Act now. No out of pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win. So win with us.
756-6400.
Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Turn your tragedy into cash. Act now. No out of pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win. So win with us.
756-6400.
756-6400.
Picture that curl of steam rising from your fresh-made pizza. And in a flash, let it take you aloft, teasing all your senses. I'm talking about Jet's Pizza. If you eat out at Jet's in Hickson or take home your steaming deep dish square pizza, you'll love Jet's. They use only the best ingredients in a family recipe. Also try the